God says, you must stop this as soon as possible. This is about the home you are living in, the space you occupy not only with your body but with your emotions, your memories, your fears, and all the silent storms you avoid facing. I have been trying to reach you, not through thunder, not through signs carved into lightning, but through the quietest parts of your own intuition, the small voice you keep dismissing. You feel it when you lie down at night and the echoes of thoughts you haven't addressed keep knocking at the door of your mind. You feel it when you wake up with the sense that something is missing or something is trying to reach you. You feel it when you walk through your home and notice a heaviness. As if the air itself wants to whisper the truth to you. You brush it off, distract yourself, scroll, numb yourself, bury the discomfort. But today, I am asking you to stop running. You must stop repeating the patterns that are hurting you. You must stop tolerating what drains your spirit. You must stop allowing fear to be your guiding force. You must stop believing that you are powerless. This is about the place where you live, your home, yes, but even more deeply, your inner home, the place inside you where your real essence lives. The walls of your physical house can hold memories, but the rooms inside your heart hold entire universes. And lately, those universes have been calling for cleansing, healing, renewal. Something in your environment, inside or outside, has been silently shaping your emotions, your decisions, your energy. And God has been trying to reach you, tapping gently first, then a little louder, hoping you open the message before the pressure becomes too heavy, but you ignore the signs. Not because you are careless, but because you've grown used to surviving. You've grown comfortable with discomfort. You've normalized tension. You've learned to carry burdens so heavy that you don't even realize they're weighing you down anymore. You keep telling yourself things will change on their own, or that you'll make the shift when you feel ready, or when the timing is perfect. But the truth is, there is no perfect timing for transformation. Only willingness. Only courage. Only the realization that the longer you wait, the more you betray your own soul. This isn't about fear. This isn't about punishment. This isn't about danger in the way you imagine it. When God says you must stop this as soon as possible, it is not condemnation, it is protection. It is intervention. It is a hand reaching out because something in your life is slowly draining your spirit, and if you don't address it now, it will pull you further from who you were meant to become. The home you are living in has absorbed too many unspoken emotions. Maybe it's arguments that left residue in the walls. Maybe it's memories you try to ignore. Maybe it's objects you kept out of guilt rather than love. Maybe it's people who do not honor the peace you deserve. Maybe it's routines that keep you small. Maybe it's your own thoughts echoing repeatedly in the same rooms, creating a cycle you haven't noticed. God is trying to help you see that the energy around you shapes the energy within you. When you step into a space daily, its atmosphere becomes part of your frequency. You absorb the weight of what surrounds you. So if you're living in a space that carries sorrow, anxiety, conflict, fear, or stagnation, then those emotions cling to you like dust on your skin. You think you're tired because of life. But sometimes you're tired because your environment has been shouting at you in silence, "I am stopping you now because you have ignored too many nudges." I whispered in your intuition when you felt the urge to rearrange your room. I spoke through discomfort when you felt the need to declutter. I spoke through restlessness when you walked from corner to corner, sensing something wasn't right. I spoke through objects that suddenly felt out of place. I spoke through dreams that carried symbols you didn't understand. I spoke through people who told you indirectly that something needs to shift. I spoke through moments when you felt like stepping outside because inside didn't feel like home anymore. You kept brushing it off. You told yourself you were imagining things. You said you'd deal with it later. But time is not the issue. Awareness is. You must stop allowing your home, inner and outer, to become a container for old pain. Your soul is ready for expansion, but expansion cannot happen in a space that hasn't been cleared. You cannot grow where you are suffocating. You cannot rise where you feel trapped. You cannot become who you are meant to be if you remain surrounded by the weight of who you used to be. There is something in your life you must stop tolerating. Something you must stop giving energy to. Something you must stop allowing into your environment. It may be a habit, a relationship, a fear, a memory, a pattern, or even a physical object. But you already know what it is. You've felt it in your chest. You've heard it in your thoughts. You've resisted it because change feels frightening, but the price of staying the same is far greater. This is not a threat. This is love in its sharpest form. This is divine intervention telling you that if you do not take action now, your life will remain tangled in cycles that drain instead of uplift. This is protection arriving before you even ask for it. Tragedy is not always an event, it is often a slow erosion of the spirit. A quiet dimming of potential. A gradual forgetting of who you truly are. I want to prevent that. Not with force, but with truth. Your home should be your sanctuary, a place where your mind breathes, your heart rests, and your dreams rejuvenate. But lately, you walk through your space with a heaviness you don't speak about. Your body feels it before your mind acknowledges it. Sometimes your chest gets tight. Sometimes your thoughts get loud. Sometimes your sleep feels disturbed. Sometimes your mornings feel less hopeful. These are signs. Not supernatural warnings, but emotional truths manifesting through your environment. You have outgrown a version of yourself, but your home still holds it. You have evolved beyond a chapter, but your environment still reflects it. You have healed more than you realize. But your space has not caught up with your growth. This is why you must stop delaying. You must stop living in a home that no longer matches your spirit. Whether that means rearranging, cleansing, letting go, moving, shifting habits, renegotiating relationships, freeing yourself from patterns, whatever it is, the time is now. Not when you feel ready. Not when it's convenient. Now, every transformation begins with a small action. Open a window. Move a piece of furniture. Let go of something you've kept out of habit. Clean the corner you've avoided. Sit in silence and listen to what your intuition tries to say. Replace something that has carried too much emotional weight. Restore your space to reflect who you are becoming. You don't need to tear your life apart. You need to realign it, and beyond the physical space, I am speaking to the emotional home you've built inside yourself. The place where you hide your wounds. The place where you store your fears. The place where your inner child sits quietly waiting to be acknowledged. The place where your adult self tries to stay strong even when tired. The place where your soul whispers what you truly need. Stop letting fear take up residence there. Stop letting doubt decorate your inner world. Stop letting old memories take up rooms that should belong to hope. Stop letting people who hurt you remain in your thoughts like uninvited guests. Stop letting past versions of yourself dictate the layout of your present. You deserve a home, external and internal, that feels safe, warm, inspiring, clear, and alive, and deep down, you know this. That is why you feel the pull to change something. That is why the message feels urgent. That is why you sense that something must shift. Not because destruction is coming, but because growth is calling. You have 10 seconds left, not to avoid disaster, but to make a decision. The countdown is not a warning, it is a wake-up moment. 10 seconds to choose awareness instead of avoidance. 10 seconds to choose yourself instead of your fears. 10 seconds to acknowledge that your spirit is asking for a new beginning. 10 seconds to realize that you are no longer the person who lived in the old energy of your home. God is not trying to scare you. God is trying to free you. You are stepping into a new season, but you cannot carry the old weight with you. You must release what no longer serves your peace. You must cleanse the space that holds your daily life. You must open the metaphorical door and allow fresh energy, divine energy, to enter. You must trust the pull you feel within your spirit, and when you do, everything will begin to shift. Your mind will feel lighter. Your sleep will feel deeper. Your home will feel brighter. Your intuition will feel clearer. Your heart will feel softer. Your decisions will become easier. Your future will feel attainable. A clean space leads to a clean mind. A healed home leads to a healed spirit. A renewed environment leads to renewed strength. I am with you through this. Every step. Every decision. Every release. Every new beginning. I am guiding you not toward fear, but toward freedom. Not toward loss, but toward alignment. Not toward emptiness, but toward expansion. Stop delaying your peace. Stop ignoring your intuition. Stop living in spaces, inner or outer, that dim your light. This is your moment. This is your turning point. This is your divine message. And now that you have opened this message, something in you has already begun to shift. You may not feel it fully yet, but the awareness has entered your spirit. The truth has touched the surface of your consciousness, and once truth arrives, it cannot be unseen. You are no longer walking blindly through the patterns you once carried. You now feel a subtle pull inside you, a call to examine, to rearrange, to release. This is the beginning of real transformation, the kind that doesn't erupt through force but expands gently, like dawn revealing the world inch by inch. You might wonder why this message feels so personal, so directed at the core of your soul. It is because you've been asking for clarity without realizing you were asking. Every time you whispered "I feel stuck," every time you said "I want things to get better," every time you caught yourself staring into space wondering why life feels heavier than it should, those were prayers. They didn't need words. Your energy spoke them. Your heart whispered them. And I heard you. This is the response to those silent prayers. Not an answer handed to you fully formed, but a light guiding you toward your next step. True guidance doesn't do the work for you, it awakens the wisdom within you. It nudges your awareness, reminds you of what you've forgotten, strengthens what was already growing inside you. Right now, you are standing at the doorway between your old self and your emerging self. You can feel the difference even if you can't describe it. The old energy feels uncomfortable, constricting, outdated. The new energy feels unknown but enticing, expansive, aligned with something deeper. And yet, like all transitions, it brings hesitation. You fear what you cannot predict. You fear losing what's familiar. You fear walking into a space you haven't mapped, but remember this: every major shift in your life came after a moment that felt uncertain. Every blessing that shaped you arrived after a moment where you didn't know what was next. Every transformation you've lived through opened with a feeling of discomfort. You are not a stranger to change. You are simply forgetting your own strength. The home you live in, inside and outside, reflects your readiness for your next chapter. Look closely at the objects around you. Some hold memories that no longer serve your growth. Some hold energy from people who are no longer part of your path. Some hold emotions from your past that your spirit has outgrown. You've kept some things out of obligation, some out of fear of letting go, some because you attached meaning to things that were only meant to be temporary, but your soul is not temporary. Your growth is not temporary. The next chapter of your life is not temporary. You are being asked to release the things that cling to old versions of you, so you can make room for the blessings aligned with who you are becoming. You must stop allowing your environment to trap you in cycles you've already mentally left behind. A change in surroundings is not always a physical move. It can be a shift in intention, a cleansing of energy, a rearrangement of spaces, a symbolic release of emotional baggage. You may wonder why the message feels urgent. It is not because danger is looming, it is because alignment is arriving. And when alignment approaches, anything that is not meant for you begins to feel uncomfortable. Old habits begin to feel suffocating. Old routines lose their grip. Old relationships reveal their true energy. Old fears start looking smaller than your desire for growth. This tension you feel is not a warning, it is a sign of expansion. Your soul is stretching into the space it deserves. But your environment, inner and outer, must stretch with it. Imagine your inner home for a moment. Close your eyes and envision it. What does it look like? Is it cluttered? Is it dim? Is it echoing with old words or old wounds? Or is it longing for fresh air, light, peace, and renewal? The change begins there, and as you shift your inner home, your physical home will shift with it. You will feel inspired to clean things you ignored for months. You will feel drawn to let go of objects that suddenly feel heavy. You will want to open windows and let fresh air in. You will want to remove things that carry the wrong energy. You will crave simplicity. You will crave lightness. You will crave order. You will crave peace. This is not random behavior. This is alignment manifesting in physical form. Your discomfort lately hasn't been a problem, it has been a message. A message that you are not meant to remain where you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or environmentally. A message that you have outgrown the space you've been living in. A message that your next chapter requires a different version of you, and God is preparing you for it, guiding you toward it, whispering through every instinct, every intuition, every moment of restlessness. You are not alone in this shift. You are not walking through uncertainty without guidance. You are being led, step by step, toward a life that mirrors your true essence. You just have to trust the pull, trust the discomfort, trust the moments that feel like endings, because they are actually beginnings. You must stop ignoring your intuition. Stop brushing off the signs. Stop minimizing the importance of your environment. Stop telling yourself that you'll adjust later. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to choose yourself. Stop delaying the peace your soul is craving. The time is now because your spirit is ready now. The transformation is starting because you are strong enough for it now. The guidance is coming because you are finally receptive to it now. Change doesn't begin with clarity, it begins with willingness. And you are willing, even if you don't fully realize it yet. The next part of your journey will require courage, but not the loud kind. Not the dramatic, heroic courage movies portray. This is the quiet kind of courage, the kind that happens in small decisions, in everyday moments, in silent releases, in gentle acts of self-respect. It takes courage to look around your home and admit that something needs to shift. it takes courage to look inside yourself and admit that something needs to heal. It takes courage to let go of things that once defined you. It takes courage to close chapters you outgrew. It takes courage to create space for the life you truly want, and you have that courage. You always have, you just forgot what it feels like. But now, as this message reaches deeper into your heart, the memory returns. The strength returns. The willingness returns. You are ready. And everything you are feeling right now, the impulse to act, the desire to clear, the need to breathe, the urge to shift, is not random. It is your soul saying, "Let's begin." You are stepping into a moment where the universe is rearranging itself around your readiness. You may not see the changes yet, but you can feel them in the subtle ways your heart responds to truth. Something inside you is awakening, and once an awakening begins, nothing can push it back to sleep. You might try to distract yourself. You might try to convince yourself that everything is fine as it is, but a deeper part of you knows that staying the same is no longer an option. Growth has already begun. You are already shifting, already expanding, already moving forward. Even in the moments you feel still, you have been living with a type of heaviness that you learned to ignore. It settled into your home, into the corners of your routine, into the atmosphere around you. It crept into your habits and your thoughts, slowly becoming part of the background noise in your life. You told yourself you were simply tired. You told yourself you were stressed. You told yourself it was normal. But the truth is, that heaviness has been signaling misalignment. Your spirit has been whispering that something in your environment no longer matches the person you are becoming. Think of how many times you paused in your own home and felt something was off. How many times you sighed without knowing why. How many times you walked into a room and felt a shift in your energy. How many times you woke up restless, or sat down feeling unsettled, or sensed an emotional residue that didn't belong to you. These were not random moments. They were messages. They were signals. They were invitations to examine the space around you and the space within you. You are not meant to live in an environment that suffocates your spirit. You are not meant to carry energy that isn't yours. You are not meant to stay in a state of emotional stagnation. You are meant to expand, to breathe, to rise. And the time has come to create a home, both internal and external, that reflects your truth, not your fears. Think of your inner world as a house with many rooms. In some rooms, you store joy, memories, hope, and dreams. In others, you keep heartbreak, fear, guilt, and old versions of yourself that no longer serve you. Some rooms you haven't entered in years. Some you've locked. Some you visit too often. And then there are rooms so cluttered that you avoid them completely because you know the moment you step inside, you'll have to face what you left there. But healing begins in the rooms we avoid. You are being called to open those doors gently. To step inside with compassion, not judgment. To sit with what you find. To understand it, heal it, release it if necessary. Because your spirit cannot rise if parts of you are still living in the past. And the home you live in mirrors that internal landscape. A cluttered environment reflects a cluttered mind. A chaotic space reflects unresolved emotions. A dark room reflects suppressed parts of you. An object that triggers pain reflects a memory you haven't healed. A corner you avoid reflects a truth you haven't faced. A room that feels heavy reflects energy that no longer belongs in your life. You are being guided to cleanse all of this, not out of fear, but out of preparation. When God says stop this, it is not a warning of external tragedy, it is a call to stop abandoning yourself. To stop living in an environment that contradicts your soul. To stop tolerating energies that drain you. To stop giving space to what hurts you. To stop ignoring the inner voice that keeps whispering that you deserve more. You have spent too much time shrinking to fit into spaces that were never designed for your expansion. You have stayed too long in emotional patterns that kept you small. You have silenced your intuition to prioritize comfort. But comfort is not the same as peace. Comfort can trap you. Peace frees you. This transition you're experiencing is the beginning of peace. You may feel overwhelmed by the thought of change. But remember, change does not require drastic action. It begins with intention. It begins with awareness. It begins with small decisions repeated consistently. You do not need to transform everything in one day. You only need to begin. A single step is enough to open the door to momentum. Start by noticing how your environment makes you feel. Observe which objects carry heavy energy. Pay attention to the rooms that drain you and the rooms that soothe you. Listen to the impulse inside you when you imagine letting certain things go. Feel the difference between what weighs you down and what uplifts you. Your soul will tell you exactly what needs to be released. If you listen, there is a reason you've been feeling restless in your own home. There is a reason you've been craving change without knowing what kind. There is a reason you've been sensing that the energy around you needs renewal. You are entering a season where you must make room for blessings. When something new is meant to enter your life, the old will begin to feel unbearable. The heaviness you feel is not danger, it is misalignment. And misalignment cannot remain once truth is revealed. What you are stepping into requires clarity. It requires space. It requires light. It requires strength. And most importantly, it requires you to trust this inner calling. This is not chaos. This is your spirit shedding what no longer belongs. This is the silent rebirth before the visible transformation. You are being shaped into a version of yourself that your old environment cannot contain. You do not need certainty to move forward. You only need faith. You do not need a full plan. You only need to follow the next step your intuition reveals. You do not need to know the outcome. You only need to trust that the guidance you're receiving is leading you toward alignment. You are not meant to stay where you are, not emotionally, not energetically, not spiritually. Something greater is calling you. Something brighter. Something more aligned. Something that feels like home in ways your current environment never has. Let yourself step toward it. Let yourself release the weight. Let yourself breathe again. Let yourself heal. Let yourself rise. And as you continue to feel this shift unfolding within you, something subtle yet powerful begins to awaken. It's a sense that your life, your inner world, and your environment are being prepared for a transformation that has been long overdue. You may not have had the words for it, but your soul has been whispering this truth for a long time. You are meant for more than the heaviness you've been carrying. You are meant for a home, inside and outside, that reflects peace, clarity, growth, and light. And now the time has come to reclaim that space. You might look around your home and see ordinary rooms, ordinary walls, ordinary objects. But the energy within them holds stories that your spirit feels even when your mind tries to ignore them. There are corners that feel like sorrow, objects that feel like memories you haven't healed. Spaces that feel like chapters you've outgrown. There are places in your environment where the air feels heavy, not because something bad is there, but because old emotions still linger like shadows that haven't been acknowledged. Every home holds energy. Every space absorbs emotion. Every object carries intention. And you, without realizing it, have been walking through old chapters each day, breathing in an atmosphere shaped by moments you've already healed from internally. That mismatch between your inner growth and your outer environment is why things have felt off. You're not the same person you were when you created the life you're living now. You've evolved. You've matured. You've learned. You've survived. Your spirit has expanded, but your surroundings have not yet caught up. God has been trying to show you this, through intuition, through discomfort, through the quiet awareness that something must change. You are not meant to stay in a space that no longer resonates with your soul. When the internal self transforms, the external world must transform too. If it doesn't, you begin to feel the strain. You begin to feel out of sync, like wearing clothes you've outgrown or trying to fit into a life that no longer aligns with your heart. This message is not about fear, it's about alignment. It's about guiding you toward the environments, both physical and emotional, that nourish your spirit rather than drain it. You've carried burdens in silence for too long. You've tolerated energy that weighs you down. You've kept things out of habit rather than purpose. You've allowed the presence of old emotions to shape your present atmosphere. But no more. Not now. Not in this new season of your life. You are entering a moment where you must choose yourself. Not in a selfish way, but in a life-giving way. Choosing yourself means choosing health, peace, clarity, and truth. It means creating a home that supports your growth instead of stalling it. It means letting go of guilt, fear, and the false idea that you must carry everything alone. You are not meant to walk through life burdened by the weight of energies you didn't choose. You are meant to feel free, grounded, and aligned, and that begins with addressing your environment. Notice how certain items in your home stir emotion, sometimes nostalgia, sometimes pain. Notice how certain rooms feel lighter while others feel heavy. Notice how the light falls differently in spaces where you feel peace versus where you feel tension. Notice how your body reacts when you enter certain areas. Your body often tells the truth before your mind admits it. The tightness in your chest, the heaviness in your shoulders, the restlessness in your spirit, these are messages. Not warnings, but invitations. Invitations to clear, cleanse, shift, and renew. There is something in your home, or your emotional home, that you've been avoiding. Something you know you need to release. Something that no longer holds space in your future. It might be a memory attached to an object. It might be a pattern you act out unconsciously. It might be a situation you tolerate because you fear confrontation. It might be emotional residue that has gone unspoken for too long. Let this be the moment where you acknowledge it. Let this be the moment where you breathe deeply and say, I am ready to let go. Let this be the moment where you honor yourself enough to create a life that reflects your worth, not your wounds. You do not need to change everything at once. You simply need to begin. Open a window and let the air shift. Move something to a place where it feels intentional. Throw away what feels heavy or unnecessary. Put away what doesn't belong to the future you're stepping into. Clean not because you must, but because you are clearing space for new blessings. Rearrange not because you're restless, but because your soul is reorganizing itself and your environment must follow. You may feel emotional as you begin this process. You may feel uncertain. You may even feel sad as you let go of things that once meant something to you. That is natural. Release often comes with emotion. But remember, you are not losing anything essential. You are making space. You are creating alignment. You are choosing yourself. And the universe always rewards those who choose growth over stagnation. You are not running from anything. You are moving toward something cleaner, brighter, freer, more aligned with the truth of who you are becoming. The heaviness you've been feeling is not a threat, it's a sign of transformation. God is not warning you. God is guiding you. God is not scaring you. God is awakening you. God is not telling you something bad will happen. God is telling you something beautiful is ready to enter your life. If you make room for it, every shift begins with awareness. You have that now. And the journey continues from this moment forward, with every choice you make, every space you clear, every emotion you honor, and every step you take toward creating a home that finally feels like peace.